Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Anarchy Analysis 2021 LEC Spring Split Predictions. Boy, that is one big mouthful to say, and this video is not going to be a mouthful to go through, as we're breaking down each team in separate individual parts to this series. So expect 10 episodes of us breaking down each team one by one here in the LEC, and doing it in an absolute smashing style. But before we get into any sort of breakdown of a team, we need to know the criteria we are working with on each and every lineup in the LEC. So, like normal, we've got 3 stats that I'm giving a 1 to 5 score, including decimals this time, on. And they are the mechanical skills, which includes micro, macro, and positioning. We have the leadership / communication skill, which we get and learn through mic checks and episodes of that sort. And finally, we have our 2020 season achievements stat. This involves all the ERL League trophies, any trophies from other regions like the LCS, as well as any sort of player accomplishments that we see earned by a player or a team. But without further ado, there's only one thing left to say, that is get ready, as we are going to be heading into our first team breakdown, and that is going to be Astralis. So, after that very nice intro to this lineup, we got to see all 5 players who make up the new team in the LEC. Obviously, Origin disbanded and their parent company took over their LEC spot in Astralis, and we see this Astralis lineup do basically a mad line / splice maneuver. They keep their mid laner in Nuke Duck and pick up 4 upstart rookies, or players who are considered to be very, very strong in their roles in ERL leagues. Then players are White Knight, Zanzara, PromiseQ and Jeskla, making this very strong Astralis lineup, which can be considered a very threatening lineup to most European teams. So, we're going to kick things off with the Astralis top lane. Now, Alphari was the original top laner for Origin, but he left this squad and he's left a massive void. Obviously, with him being the all-pro top laner for the LEC, it's kind of a hard thing to fill if you're Astralis once your best player leaves your lineup. Now, they managed to pull in White Knight, who I think is going to be a suitable replacement for Alphari. The reason I say this is because he was a part of the big lineup that won the European Masters, with the likes of Kazi and Labrov on that lineup as well. He was left behind on the big squad and performed not to the best of standards in the Prime League Winter Division that's only just finished. Now, he is known for playing carry tops. I know he's got a very strong Malphite with 100% win rate in the Prime League, and also the cannons, the fiddles. He whips them out. He plays them very, very well and very, very effectively. Obviously, with him being a former ADC player who's transitioned up to the top lane, it's a very good thing to say that this player is very, very good at what he does. So, let's go over the stats that I've given White Knight here. I've given him a 4.1 for mechanics. Reason being is, obviously with the carry that he was, he's transitioned that sort of role up to the top lane, bringing the carries that he used to play up to there and picking more top-oriented carries like the Kennons, the Renekton's, the Jaxes, all that jazz going top lane. It does require a lot of mechanics to obviously outplay those tankier opponents, and from what I remember, he did receive a couple of MVP performances during the European Masters run that he won last year. So obviously, he's going to have a lot of outplay potential coming up against the likes of Kryze, who's another big carry-oriented top laner, and also Bwipo and Wunder, to name a few other top-tier top laners. Now, leadership, gonna have to give him a nice solid 3, just the baseline of 3, because while I feel that he was probably the captain of Big, you still can't realistically comment on how he works with his team because of the fact that there's no real evidence of it. Like, a lot of these players you're going to see me say they're going to have a 3 for leadership communication because there's no actual evidence of how well they communicate. Obviously, he must have some communication skills because he's gone on to win things with the former Big lineup, so there's that to go with him. As for basically his third stat, which is 2020 overall results, how well he did, I'm only giving him a 3 because Prime League in the winter obviously is the pre-season build of the game. You've got a load of things that you don't get to see normally during the regular season, but he still performed 5th, I do believe, in the summer event, if not a bit better than that. And as a whole, I say that he still deserves a 3 because it is an ERL league and not the LEC. You can't give a sort of relative prediction to how well they'll do in a league that's completely different to what they're used to. Up next, we have Zanzara, the former Argo Rogue jungler, and I'm really hyped for this player. He is a current European Masters winner. He won the most recent tournament, and he won the Trinity Force Polish Cup that's literally just finished as well with the Argo Rogue lineup. He's coming into the LEC for his first season in the top flight of Europe, and for me, there's a lot of hype around him. He's known for playing these more tank-orientated junglers, the likes of the Sets, the Sejuanis, the Pantheons and Jarvans in his most recent tourney, but in my opinion, he's going to be stepping up into a top league with a tank meta behind him. He's going to do a lot of work here, so overall, stats wise, give him a 3.5. You don't need too much mechanical skills to obviously play tanks, so he gets a very basic 3.5 for that. 3 for leadership and the communication skill, can't really say much more than that. And for his 2020 seasonal results, I've given him a 4. I would give him the 5, but obviously these are ERL leagues, not the LEC or Worlds, so I can't really step it up more than that. So he's only getting the 4 instead of a 5. But as I say, he's a phenomenal player, one of which I'm going to keep my eyes on, especially with the meta suiting tanks more than anything. Up next, we have the returning member of this Astralis lineup. It is possibly gonna be the year of the duck, finally, in the LEC. with this new lineup, he's got a lot of work to do, considering he had a very rough summer split, finishing dead last with his Origin lineup that was touted to be a top 3 squad. However, that did not work out for him, and with his control mage style, it's going to be intriguing to see how he adapts it into the new meta of League. Now, as a player, he's one that's gone towards the picks like Diorn in the mid lane, which would work out extremely well for the Astralis lineup because tanks and bruisers being a bit more prevalent in the current meta. I feel that he's going to be possibly going towards these sorts of picks like Malphites, the Maokais, this and that in the mid lane to bring some power to his lineup. That being said, he is known for his LeBlanc, which he popped off last season on, getting almost a perfect record, only dropping like 2 games on it all season. However, he did have some weak performances on other picks. He was most notably stuck playing Oriannas, but as I say, he's still a very strong player. And as we go over his stats, I'm giving him a 3.1 for mechanics, dropping that down 0.9 from what I gave last summer. Reason being is he's been stuck playing control mages and he hasn't been getting the best of results on them. I distinctly remember a load of whiffs with them shockwaves on his Orianna, but as a player he has a lot of good mechanical outplays with that LeBlanc. As I said, he's picked up, he can burst down targets very easily with that, and he's done that incredibly well once he gets that pick. Now, as for leadership and obviously communications, he needs to be the focal point of this lineup. Being one of the only members of this team that's played in the LEC, he's going to be probably leading this lineup, so he's going to be given from me a nice 3.9 for communications. He's going to be the guy that leads this lineup, and with his kind of experience in this league, he's going to need to show it to these rookies. And finally, for his 2020 summer split results stat, I've got to give him a 1. He finished dead last. His squad Origin finished dead last. He's the only survivor, and he's lucky probably to survive, but as I say, he is getting 1.4 that. Now we get down to the bot lane. We'll kick this off with Jeskla. He is the former Mouse Esports ADC. This guy's done a lot with this lineup, winning Prime League Summer Playoffs and the Grand Finals of the Prime League on this lineup, and he did finish 3rd at this current European Masters for trophies in 2020. That is an overall very, very strong set of accomplishments. As for his champion pool that he tends to go towards, he plays a lot of the standard ADCs, the Jins that we've seen ever so often, the Kallistas, the Varuses back when he was very, very prevalent. But one thing to know about Jeskla, he isn't afraid to whip out some AP carries. He's brought out Karthuses before in the bot lane, Heimerdingers, Ziggs, all in one season. And what's even more surprising is he's played Malphite as a ADC role champion alongside a Senna with his support that we'll get to in a minute. But as I say, he is a very, very strong player, one of which provides a lot of carry potential for this Astralis lineup. So as such, we see his mechanical stat getting a nice 4.1, not going any higher than that because it's not mechanics at the top tier level, but he is overall performing very well with these champions. He's getting a 3 for his teamwork. Obviously, I was going to give it a bit more, but obviously it's in the Prime League that he's performed very well with completely different players, bar one. And lastly, I've given a 3.7 to accomplishments of 2020. Prime League Summer Playoffs winning and the Grand Finals of the Prime League, which is only just finished technically with the European Masters 3.7, is overall fairly well accomplished player. Speaking of accomplished players, alongside Jeskla is his teammate on Mouse Esports. It is Mr. PromiseQ. Now this guy is known for being an MSI World Champion with G2 as their support sub, and he's also been, well, once he left that roster, he went to Mouse Esports, and he's achieved basically everything that Jeskla has with winning the Prime League and the Grand Finals of the Pro Division. And he is also the third place player in the European Masters, and as a whole has accomplished a lot. So he's also getting a nice 3.7 for his 2020 accomplishments. As for the rest of the things, he is known for being the more tankier support player. He plays the likes of the Alistars and Brahms. During the European Masters, he played Galio, Tarek, Nautilus, Shen, Thresh, Braum alongside a Bard. They're sort of very strong picks that most supports have been playing. He didn't play, surprisingly, any Leona during that, but when we got to the Prime League Pro Division Grand Finals, he brought out the Leonas, the Alistars, and the Nautiluses alongside a Thresh for good fortune. So very, very tank heavy supports he's playing. A lot of playmakers, no Pantheons surprisingly, but he still does have that Leona, which is considered a top tier support pick. Interestingly enough, Enchantresses like the Morg, the Bard that he's played have been played. His favourite champions are obviously Lulu, Janet, them sorts of Enchantress supports, but he doesn't get to play them as much because obviously it does not suit the meta. Now, mechanically, very strong playmaker. He's going to get a nice juicy 3.7 alongside his already achieved 3.7 for 2020. And for leadership, giving him a solid 3. Can't give him any more than that, as overall it's hard to rank a player based on European success outside of the LEC. Now, with all the players rounded up in terms of how I feel that they're going to play, let's go over how I feel this team is going to place. Now, Astralis have made some big changes for me, and there are very strong changes in terms of players that they brought in to this lineup, obviously being former European Masters winners, as well as doing very well in their region. Now, it's kind of hard, obviously, to expect this squad to do well, considering half the squad haven't realistically played in the LEC before against these kind of opponents they're going up against. But you've still got to have a little faith, and as such, this squad being the first squad we're covering in the entire Anarchy Analysis team breakdown, I've got them put Astralis in 6th, middle of the pack, barely making it into playoffs, and it's going to come down to whether or not they can gel quick enough to perform at this high level, because obviously they've already got 2 pieces that have played together throughout the entirety of 2020. You've also got Nukedut, who is a veteran, and then you have the rest of the squad kind of just coming in from their former squads and kind of just trying to fit in and do well. But obviously, I think that this is going to be an incredibly interesting lineup to watch. Obviously, they've basically combined like how Mad Lions have done in 2020, and I feel this is going to be incredibly interesting to see how well they perform as a team. But I've given them middle of the pack 6th, and it's going to be interesting to see how well the rest of the squads that I've got to cover will do in comparison to Astralis. Anyway, that is going to be it for the first of 10 team breakdowns. I'm doing it completely different to how I've done it before in previous years, where we've covered every single team in one video. I'm going to be breaking down each team separately. It gives me a bit more time to flow through the content and give you guys a bit more in-depth look at each team as a whole. And as this series goes on and on, when we get closer and closer to the start of the LEC, we're going to see the entire table of teams being built up throughout these videos. Once again, I am izlogic.business. If you've enjoyed this, leave a like down below, subscribe when you're around here if you want to, and I will see you guys later. Peace out.